The Super Bowl is this Sunday. Hey guys, it's Sabby Sabs and I am back with another video for you. So the Super Bowl is Sunday. We got Tampa Bay going against Kansas City. And I am going to go ahead and make my Super Bowl prediction, even though I'll probably regret doing this later on, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm going to tell you why I think this team is going to win. And I'll tell you what could happen that would make them not win, but I really think this team is going to win. So let me grab my tea and stay tuned. So I don't claim to be a football expert. I'm not by any means necessary. So I just want to go ahead and put that out there. But I will say that I am very much into football. I love football. I've always loved football and all the things that come with it, the good and the bad. And I've been thinking about the game this Sunday. And most of you know, I'm here in New England. You know I'm a big Patriots fan, but obviously we are not in it this year. I know many of you are very happy and excited about that. But when I'm thinking about who I think is going to win this game, I think it really comes down to who really has the most to prove. So if I'm thinking about Kansas City, let's go ahead and start with them first. Kansas City won last year, okay? Last year, I felt like Patrick Mahomes had a lot more to prove because he was a young quarterback. So he had to kind of prove to people that, like, I'm for real and I can win championships. And he did that last year. This year, I feel like it's a little bit different because now you have Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay hasn't won a Super Bowl in, it's been a while. It's been a while. Let's just be real. I think it was the 90s, late 90s. Someone check that. Anyhow, I think that Tampa Bay actually has the most to prove. And I know some of you may disagree with this, and that's okay. It's okay to disagree. But the reason why I think they have the most to prove is because, number one, they haven't been to a Super Bowl and it's been a while. I'm talking more than 10 years. So it's been a long time. But number two, you have Tom Brady. And now those of you that know, I'm a Patriots fan. I know about Tom Brady. And I know how great of a QB that Tom Brady is. All this year, Brady has had to prove that he can win without Belichick. And I've heard that for years, especially even being up here. Brady wouldn't win without Belichick. But all this season, he's shown us that he can. And I never believed that, by the way. I always thought he could still win without Belichick. So for me, I didn't feel like he had to prove anything to me. But to the doubters, the naysayers, haters, whatever you want to call them, he did have to prove that to them. Now, that being said, has this been his best season? Absolutely not. I would never say that. I would never agree to that. I don't think this has been his best season. I don't think this has been I don't want to say good, but this has not been a great season for him per se. A lot of interceptions, a lot of mistakes, but he was still able to pull out the win. And that is one thing I will say when Brady, even when he played with New England, Brady was always, usually, even if it came down to the last couple seconds of the game, for the most part, he could pull out the win until last year. Last year was different case. He didn't have the tools that he needed last year on that team, but that's a whole nother conversation. So anyway, my prediction, and I don't want to sound biased, but my prediction is that Tampa Bay is going to win the Super Bowl. And I know some of you are like, no freaking way. I think they will. I really think they will. So going back to who has the most to prove, I feel that Tampa Bay has the most to prove. I feel that Tom Brady has the most to prove. Because like I said, he had to prove all this season that he could win without Belichick. So he's been doing that. But like I said also, this has not been his best season. So he's had some mistakes here and there. But he still has to prove he can win a Super Bowl without Belichick. That has not been done yet. So this is really going to be a test because people have been saying this for a long time. Patriots win because we cheat. Patriots win because we steal. It was just everything. We won because of Spygate. We won because Tom Brady was throwing Nerf balls, even though they weren't Nerf balls, but you guys know I'm exaggerating. You know what I mean? The deflate gate. It was always like we win because we cheat or whatever, right? Not really thinking about the fact that Tom Brady, just admitted, is a phenomenal quarterback. First Take for a while, they've been talking about how he's been on the decline or he's about to fall off this cliff. But they've been talking about that for like 5 years. And it's just been Max Kellerman. Stephen A wasn't saying that. But they've been saying that for 5 years. And the whole time I've just been like, where is this cliff? Because I don't see a cliff. But no, like Tom Brady has not been playing to the same level that he was like 10 years ago. That's just something that's going to happen as you get older. But he's still able to win. And I think that's something that we need to remember. Like, he's still winning. He's still pulling out games. So Brady went to Tampa Bay and he was finally on a team where the coach was like, you know what? Do your thing. So from what I understand, the coach of Tampa Bay gave Brady a lot of freedom to do that. I think he actually said that the last playoff game, the coach was just like, I knew that he could come in here and lead this team and I let him just do his thing. So that was something that Belichick, I think, with Brady, they really butted heads on. They didn't agree on a lot of things. They definitely didn't agree on the tools that Brady need towards the last 2 years that he was with the Patriots, because he was struggling. The fact that we won some of those games that we won is surprising. Just keeping it real, because we just didn't have the tools, and we really needed help on the wide receiving end. We can't rely on Edelman to catch everything, and that was what it was getting down to. But that's another video. Anyhow, how could he lose this game, or how could Tampa Bay lose this game? If Tom Brady starts throwing interceptions, I think they're going to lose. Now, I know some of you might think, well, what's the difference with him throwing interceptions throughout the regular season versus the Super Bowl? You know, during the regular season, there's all these playbacks, replays, instant replays. There's a lot of stopping and starting. But you notice, like during the Super Bowl, there's not as much as that. There's not as many flags thrown. There's not as many challenge calls or challenges or stuff like that. They don't have as much as that. For the most part, in the Super Bowl, you don't see a lot of calls. So that's one thing. But the other thing is the fact that throwing an interception in a Super Bowl game, that can really change everything. And so the last game that Brady played, if I'm not mistaken, he threw 3 interceptions. Someone fact check that, but I think I'm right. 3 interceptions. You can't do that in a Super Bowl game. If he does that in the Super Bowl, I don't think Tampa Bay will win. You'd really have to fight hard to come back from that. I don't see that happening if that happens. Now, Tampa Bay does have a really good defense, and that's really been working out in Brady's favor. So another thing that may happen, if the defense slips off, I think they're not going to win that game. Because the reason why Brady was able to win some of those games throughout the regular season where he threw interceptions is because the defense showed up. The defense came through. Go back and watch that tape. But if you don't have the defense come through, they're going to lose that game. Just point and blank. So 2 things need to not happen here. Number 1, he doesn't need to throw interceptions. Number 2, the defense really needs to show up. Now, that being said, when you're watching the game on Sunday, pay close attention to what I said. Again, I'm not a football expert. My prediction could be completely wrong, but I want you to think about what I said and pay close attention to that. He starts off playing that game really well, and he's like making all his passes. Then all of a sudden, he starts throwing interceptions. I think that's going to change the game. Because with Brady, you know, as he has gotten older, he's not been able to bounce back from those interceptions like he was before. Like Brady would run, cover the ball really quick, but now you don't see him do that as much anymore. But the defense has been there to back him and to help him with that. So he's going to have to play a really good game. No mistakes, no mess ups. You really can't afford to get penalties here. So he's going to have to be on it. But Brady still wants to prove to everyone that he can win a Super Bowl without Belichick. And he wants to prove to everyone that he still has it. And that Brady said one time he wanted to play until he was 50. So even if he wins this Super Bowl, I don't think he's going to retire. Quote me on that. Honestly, if he doesn't win the Super Bowl, I don't think he's going to retire. Now, I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. But I don't think I am. I think he still wants to play. So it's really important to him that he can show people I can win a Super Bowl without Belichick. Now, how does Belichick feel about all this? That's a good question. When Brady was in New England, towards the end there, I think that Belichick just really did not have as much respect for him as he did before. Belichick will cut people left and right. Like, don't get me wrong, I think Belichick was a great coach. Not so much this season, but I think Belichick over, the course of the years has been a phenomenal coach. But there have been times where even he has made mistakes, he's had mess ups. And one of the biggest mistakes I think that he made was not getting Brady the resources that he needed. Brady was taking pay cuts so that we could have better players on the team, like really good players on the team. That's how passionate he was about the team and about winning. He was willing to sacrifice his salary so that we could get great players on that team. And throughout the years, I think Brady kind of felt like Belichick didn't really respect that. You watched Belichick like cut people left and right. He wasn't really your friend. It's not like when you're here, at the Olive Garden, they're like, when you're here, you're family. I think for Belichick, it was just like, no, when you're here to play. And when I'm done with you, you're out. I don't care who you are. And so that kind of treatment over time, people get tired of that. Brady got tired of that. Brady left. He had several options from what I heard, instead of just Tampa Bay, of other teams that he could go to. And he believed that if he went to Tampa Bay, that he could get them to a Super Bowl. And he did it. Now, that is not to say without the hard work of everybody else on that team and their coach, but I don't think any other quarterback would have taken Tampa Bay to the Super Bowl. Not this season, especially with COVID and everything. So that was another thing. So COVID affected how this season went too. And it was terrible for fantasy football, but don't even get me started on that. That's a whole nother discussion, but it is what it is. So I'm not going to keep you guys long, but that is my prediction. I predict that Tampa Bay will win. If those other 2 conditions do not happen, Brady throwing interceptions and the defense does not show up. I think it's going to be a really close game. I don't think this is going to be a blowout game. So if anyone's expecting that, I would not expect that. It's going to be close. It's going to be tough. Patrick Mahomes plays very well. He's going to be on his A game. So I just say get prepared for a nail biter. But for those of you who live in Tampa Bay, or you are, we're not live in Tampa Bay, live in Tampa. Oh, for those of you who live in Tampa, or you're a Tampa Bay fan, I think this might be your year, dude. I think this might be your year. In other news, guys, I have been getting like a lot of feedback from like the interviews I've been doing, and thank you so much for that. I've gotten a lot of compliments, and my goal is to introduce you to people that you may not know, or to introduce you to people that you do know, but you didn't know they were doing all this stuff. So, and to create awareness about things. So that is the purpose of those interviews. I've been having a blast, and I have more interviews coming up. Already had one done that I did yesterday, which you will see next week. So yeah, more of those coming. But anyway, Sunday, Tampa Bay. Bye, guys.